Nobody needs to pay attention to this because I'm just checking the mic. This is what it sounds like while I'm checking the mic. No, nothing, Mary? Try to walk out there and see that you're getting it out there. Is there anybody else in the auditorium who's using assisted listening at this point? No. Okay. Okay, so Mary, can you hear me here? Is it coming? No, it's not. That's interesting. You might check to make sure that you're getting the Wi-Fi signal from the right place. What chair should I take?
So I don't come up until after the chalice ride? It says music, you can't say what it is. But
yeah, the chalice lighting, that's where you come, that's for the morning hospital. Yeah.
I'll bring it with me that we know. Oh, no, I have my phone. Gotcha. Perfect. Thing on there, too.
So where? Something better than where it
Is Michael, get up here.
Test. Ooh, very loud, very loud, very loud,
As
very loud.
I am, yeah,
Test,
as I
test,
start
test.
talking about
Okay, no.
any other number, command one or just one? Or that says command.
I just put a one beside I don't exactly know how well you do it. No, follow.
Good morning and welcome to Live Oak. It is my honor to welcome to our pulpit, I don't want to cover her, Reverend Krista Weber Huang. Been practicing. Reverend Krista previously served as the minister for the San Marcos UU Fellowship and is currently guest preaching as she takes time for rest and renewal. She lives with her spouse Eric, their 5-year-old Lenny, and their baby Felix. She enjoys being outside, creating art, and reading in her free time. And now, please rise in body and or spirit for our gathering hymn, number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning.
Good morning and welcome. Beloved community, I'm the Reverend Krista Weber Huang, and in this sacred space, we gather as one, celebrating the tapestry of our diversity, honoring the boundless love that unites us all. May our worship today be a source of inspiration, a wellspring of courage, and a call to action. Welcome, dear friends, to this place of love, acceptance, and progress.
My name is Cindy LaGreca, and I want to give a special welcome to any visitors we have today, in person or online. Sorry, do I need to go close? If you haven't already, I encourage you to stop by our visitors table in the narthex after the service to sign up for our weekly email newsletter, and so we can meet you and answer any questions that you may have. Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church is unambiguously, unapologetically progressive, and our doors swing wide to embrace all who seek a welcoming place where we celebrate the LGBTQIA+ community, where we know every identity is a divine expression of humanity, where we commit to the work of dismantling systemic racism and other oppressions, striving for a world where equity, compassion, and justice are the cornerstones of our shared existence. Ours is a non-creedal faith. There are no doctrines you have to agree with in order to belong. Instead, we are held together by covenant, our promises to each other in this church and within our religious tradition. Please join me in these words from our historic faith. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. We unite with UU churches around the world by lighting our flaming chalice, the symbol of our religion. Today, Rosie will be lighting our chalice. Here and at home, we light it today with these words by one of my favorite authors, Chaim Potok. Be patient. You are learning a new way of understanding. All beginnings are hard, especially a beginning that you make by yourself. That is the hardest beginning of all. All right.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where his feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play, praised with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word.
Today's reading is for 5,000 years or more. For 5,000 years or more than 15,000 generations, human beings have been invoking spiritual power. My predecessors and yours have gathered together to make sense of their lives and their place in the cosmos. And they have spoken aloud, and they invited what they conceived as sacred and powerful to be with them. They called upon the spirits of air and fire, of air and earth, fire and water. They called the bear and the deer. They asked for the raven to protect them. They pleaded for the heroes of old to slay the monsters of their fears. They sang songs they learned from their grandparents and moved in the appointed ways or in ways that were new but felt like the right thing to do. And they imputed power to these spirits and to the memories of these heroes. They called them gods. And they were invoked, Vishnu and Kali, Elohim, Odin, and 100 million others. Every group of people, everywhere. They gathered to make sense of their lives and to make sense of their place in the cosmos, and they called these spirits to be present to them. And so do we. So do we. We gather this morning to make sense of ourselves and this universe in which we live as best as we are able. And we call ourselves to worship together, and we invoke the power of wonder of life itself, that to which all those spirits of animals and memories of heroes pointed the way. We invoke that power, which is, we know, always around, always with us, but which we sometimes forget about. We forget that we are part of the whole of creation. We forget that we are stardust. We forget that we are capable of miracles, first among them, that we can love. We forget these things, so we invoke the power of existence so that we can remember, so we can lift our eyes and open our ears to the true and beautiful. For 5,000 years or more, we have done this. In many tongues, in many ways, we have done this. And so we continue that ancient tradition in our way and in our time. So let us now worship together. That's by Matthew Johnson. Thus ends our reading. For the past 31 years, Live Oak has been a beacon of acceptance, love, and inclusivity in an area where our values often challenge the status quo. In a world where divisiveness and intolerance seem to grow stronger, we firmly believe in the transformative power of our faith and the positive impact we are having in our area. We invite you to make a financial contribution to help sustain this church's vital work, knowing that every gift, large and small, is appreciated and carefully used in service to our mission. If you would like to donate electronically, there's a card with a QR code in the seat back pockets. Stewardship of this church takes many forms, and all of them are gifts. Gifts of money, gifts of time, gifts of service. Today we recognize the gift of service with the Rose of Recognition Award given to individuals who exemplify the giving of time and talent to help Live Oak advance our mission. Here to tell us more is Executive Committee member Mike Schultz.
The Rose of Recognition is a Texas UU tradition in which we show our appreciation for a volunteer who has shown exemplary service to the church. We are lucky to have a congregation filled with talented members who consistently give their time and talent to making this the beautiful and vibrant church we enjoy. For their work in transitioning us to a new soundboard, with better sound and for all members here and at home, and with greater accessibility for those with hearing loss, we now ask Bob Moyers and Bill Dower to come forward.
Yay!
On behalf of Live Oak UU Church, it is my honor to present you with a rose of recognition, with a rose to publicly show appreciation for all the time and energy you have spent setting up, adjusting, and fixing to give us the best sound possible. And now, will the congregation please join me in saying thank you.
Thank you.
And I should say, we used to give the silk roses that nobody really wanted. So now they're in pin form, which is much nicer. That's right. It doesn't look like a rose. It does up close, I promise. Your financial gifts allow us to continue this kind of good work. Let this time of offering be a reflection of our shared commitment to making a positive impact on the world, and a reminder that our Unitarian Universalist values guide us not only in our beliefs, but also in our actions. Thank you for your presence and your contributions to our ongoing journey of building the beloved community here and in our wider parish.
A beautiful day creation has given us. What a beautiful day. I want to share with you a story this morning called The Everything Seed. And this is written by Unitarian Universalist minister Carol Martinaco and illustrated by Joy Troyer. Have you ever watched a seed grow? Have you ever noticed how it begins so small, so still, so quiet, like a gift waiting to be opened? And how it slowly wakes up and begins to unfold, growing into something larger and larger and larger. Then you know that whatever comes from a seed usually ends up looking very little like the seed it came from, which is also true of the very first seed. Once, long ago, way back before the beginning, so long ago, there was no such thing as time, because there was no one there to count it. Everywhere was a huge, deep, mysterious place, like something waiting to happen. There were no stars, no sun, no moon. There was no place like Earth, not a drop of water, a single tree, a rock, or a flower, and no living beings anywhere. But in that deep, waiting space was hidden the tiniest point of something no bigger than a seed. It was not a flower seed. It was not an oak tree seed. It was not a seed of corn, although all of those things were included inside the seed. You might call it an everything seed, because that is what it became. No one knows where that first seed came from, or how it was planted, or how it knew, in a way that only seeds seem to know, how long to wait for just the right moment to sprout and grow. But all at once, this tiny seed, cradled and nourished in the rich soil of space, woke up, broke open, and began to unfold and unfold and unfolding and blossoming forth into an enormous blazing ball of light, like a grandmother sun. And the universe was born. Out fluttered the galaxies like a storm of snowflakes, fluttering and swirling and gathering into the brightest, most blindingly beautiful clouds of stars. And out of those stars rolled our own star, the one we call the sun, our earth, and our moon, and all the round spinning planets that we have learned how to name. And this is the secret of that tiny seed. You and I were there at the beginning. Just as the idea for each leaf on a big oak tree lies hidden inside the acorn, we were there. We were there with all the stars and the planets, all the rocks and oceans, plants and animals and people. Everything that is now, ever was, or ever will be, was hidden inside that tiny seed. So whenever you hold a seed in your hand and wonder what it could become, imagine how you and all that is here once came from the tiniest speck of an everything seed before it sprouted and grew long, long ago in the way back beginning of time. Now, if this were an ordinary story, it would end right here. But this is a story of the universe as it keeps on unfolding. What once began in a blazing blossom of light continues every day. New stars sprout open in the deep soil of space. New plants and animals appear on the earth. Seeds of many kinds are scattered everywhere to help us remember. And new people are born every day. Just with the spark of that first light still alive and burning deep inside, waiting. Like the everything seed, it shines in ways that are yet to be known. The end. Or is it just the beginning? I wonder how you think you came to be. What is your creation story? I wonder if every day is a new creation day for each of us as we grow and we change and we become more.
Please rise as you are willing and able for hymn number 1003, Where Do We Come From?
Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we?
song can sometimes turn a little chaotic at the end, but I think that's part of the creation of it. You never know what it's going to sound like any given time that we sing it. So we've heard a number of different creation stories already this morning, and I think this is a really fun topic because it's so central to who we are as humans and how we interact with the world. Right? We are, at our core, storytellers. And this story of beginning, of how do we begin in the world, how did the world begin? How did our lives begin? How did our societies and communities begin? It's really foundational and fundamental to how we understand ourselves and our role in the world. Where do we come from? Well, who are we? Where are we going? And we find it everywhere around us, in different forms, in different ways, in the way we tell our life stories, but also in the media, in books that we read, in movies we watch. And one of my favorite book series, that I bet a few of you might be familiar with, it's called The Wheel of Time. And it starts with this really fun image of what creation looks like that's maybe a little different than the creation story we just heard. Robert Jordan starts off the book saying, "The wheel of time turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades into myth, and myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth comes again. In one age, called the third age by some, an age yet to come, an age long past, a wind rose in the mountains of mist. The wind was not the beginning. There are neither beginnings nor endings to the turning of the wheel, but it was a beginning." I think this is appropriate to how we think about and look at creation myths. So I was doing some listening on YouTube to Sumerian creation myths about some of the oldest written myths that we have, and there's some very interesting similarities to stories that we currently have alive. But they're based on tales that have been lost. Right, so even our oldest written history of how we tell creation stories has missing pieces, has references to stories that have been lost long ago. So it's interesting when we think about holding our stories of what we bring forward with us and continue to tell and recreate in new ways. On that big level, things like the flood story, right? We think of it now as a biblical story, but it goes way back to some of the earliest writings and records in humanity. And different societies have different ways of understanding these creation myths and stories about the origins of the world. There's everything from creation out of chaos to things like Earth Diver, right, where we existed in a different place and fell through a hole or were thrown into this world. There are numerous raven tales. There are divine twin tales. There are ex nihilo, which basically just means out of nothing. There's emergence tales, like the one we heard this morning, emerging from a seed. And there's things like a world parent. And now, none of these categories are completely separate from each other, right? They usually have overlapping pieces. You'll hear multiple bits of them in the different creation stories. And a modern example of this is actually the movie Moana. How many of you have seen Moana? Most, maybe not all. I highly recommend it. I'm actually going to pull a lot from Moana and kind of giving you some concrete examples of some of this stuff, because it does a lot of it. And it's Disney-fied, right? It's not true completely to the original stories of the original peoples, but they at least made an attempt at being in relationship with the folks whose ancestors originally had these tales. And so Moana starts off with the world parent story, with Tafiti, who is the mother who emerged, there's the emergence, out of the waters and gave birth to creation, to life, and raised the islands out of the sea. And that mother goddess image has similarities we see to the Christian story that I think most of us are familiar with, right? In Genesis, the breath over the waters, the word and life came forth at the word of God over the course of 6 days in the first Genesis story. And the emergence is really interesting in how it relates to what we know about science these days, right? We heard the everything steed, which is really, really grounded in physics, in what we think we know, but we can't ever completely know because we weren't there to witness it. But it plays a purpose of grounding us in the why, the what, the who, the how did this all come into being question that we wonder as people, right? The more complex stories also can inspire awe in us, right? We heard in our song this morning, "Morning has broken," the images of joy and wonder that come into us when we think about new creation and new life. But creation stories, as I've already hinted at, are more than just how the world comes into being. They're also about explaining the natural phenomena. We hear in Moana the whole story, "You're Welcome," sung by Maui. I know it's in some of your heads right now. It's my favorite earworm. Right, he says he can explain every natural phenomena. We wonder, right? Science tells us maybe it's evolution, right? But it's so complex. I watched an hour-long movie the other day on hummingbirds and how hummingbirds evolved. It's like, what? Who would have made this? And why? And how the heck did that happen? But the way all the pieces fit together in our world is incredible and awe-inspiring. But these stories not only explain the natural phenomena and inspire awe, they also connect us to a sense of our own history. Right? In Moana, we hear the story of the villagers near the beginning, singing about the land that they're connected to, the coconuts that give them all they need, and the story of our people are here on this island. But throughout the movie, that narrative expands and changes as Moana learns more of the history of her people and discovers they weren't always on this island. They used to travel the seas. That part of their history had been hidden away. But as she learns that history, it changes her sense of herself. It changes her ability to claim who she is in the world and her place and her role. and how she wants to live, and what's okay for her to do and not do. She's able to give herself permission in a way that she wasn't before, to go out into the sea, to feel a sense of confidence knowing that this is something her ancestors did for generations and generations. Having that connection to our history changes our sense of self and our sense of role in the world, of what it is we think we should do, what we think we can do, and what we might imagine that is new and different. Some of these stories are also used to build societal status. They're used to create hierarchy, right? Sometimes for good, oftentimes in ways that are challenging in our modern world, which is changing so quickly. But they define the relationship between people and the gods, and the relationship between people and nature, the relationship between animals and other animals, the relationship between the natural phenomena and ourselves. And today, we are in a time where we need to re-examine those relationships. In the US, the dominant narrative that has been handed down to us is that people have dominion over the earth, that we can use it because we are in charge of the plants and the animals and the resources. And it has led to some pretty destructive behavior. It has led us to being on the edge of environmental meltdown. This creation story that we've inherited has impacted the way that we relate to the world around us. We desperately need a new creation story to wrap our heads around a new way of relating to our environment, to the animals we share this planet with, to the resources that right now we are ripping out of the ground and destroying. A story like the everything seed shifts our place in that narrative. And I think we need to continue to dig into how do we shift our place in that narrative. We shift it not only on this big global scale, but we also shift it in community with one another. Right? As Unitarian Universalists, we have a creation story of where our faith started and came from. And it includes Christian roots with those stories from the Bible. And how we tell those stories, how we talk about where we came from as a community matters. How Live Oak UU talks about where you came from. You say you're unapologetically progressive. It matters the way you tell those stories as to how you show up now in this life and in this time. And one layer down even further from that, it matters how we tell our personal stories. It matters how we tell our lineage. Who are our ancestors? For myself, I have a matrilineal story that I have been handed down, but it includes things like my grandmother working as a teacher on a reservation. And I have to struggle with the stories she tells, both of the violence of those people that she saw in their lived out trauma, and her fierce love of them when she just about ripped the head off the crossing guard from the Canada to US border when they said they couldn't let one of her girls use the restroom. That mixed heritage. I have heritage who came over on the Mayflower. I know my ancestors have done great harm. And how do I reckon with that personally? How do I tell stories that give me strength to change what happens in the next generation? My children, there's 2 of them now. My children are biracial. They will get stories that are very different, stories of power and privilege and oppression that they will have to wrestle and reckon with. And how do I help my children do that? I don't have answers. There are many among us who received stories that are painful or didn't receive any stories at all of our personal ancestors, or stories that we've had to break from because they have been too damaging to our sense of self. How do we recreate and claim new ancestors? There's no right and wrong, but we need to ask the questions. We need to be conscientious about how we tell the stories of creation. The big ones, the medium ones, the little ones, they all matter. Thank you. I invite you to join me in a time of reflection in word and in silence. A reading by Joy Atkinson, The Womb of Stars. The womb of stars embraces us. Remnants of their fiery furnaces pulse through our veins. We are of the stars, the dust of explosions cast across space. We are of the earth. We breathe and live in the breath of ancient plants and beasts. Their cells nourish the soil. We build our communities on their harvest of gifts. Our fingers trace the curves of carved in clay and stone by forebears unknown to us. We are a part of a great circle of humanity gathered around the fire, the hearth, the altar. We gather anew this day to celebrate our common heritage. May we recall in gratitude all that has given us birth. Let us hold a moment together in sacred silence. join me.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
Sorry, there's a lot today.
This is the equivalent of a clown car.
When Sue's handwriting I can read, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Okay. This community is a chosen village where our lives are interconnected. Part of the tapestry of this communal journey is sharing the significant milestones, joys, and sorrows in our lives, and witnessing the diversity we hold. One of us may be celebrating a life event while another is mourning a grief. And there is a beauty in that mosaic, as we are reminded that the moments of life are transient and ever-changing. Today we have some sorrows from Mike. My dad's health is declining rapidly. Sadly, he won't be with us much longer. Sorry. From Christina, my dog died. My car was stolen. But I have a new puppy. I look forward. A new puppy, something. I have a new puppy and I'm looking for a new car. Is that right? Thank you. Okay. From Julianne, my boys and I lost our 18-year-old cat Lola. Though we wish her well on her next journey, we miss her deeply. And from Chris, next Benedict, say their name. Let us hold our LGBTQIA plus community in love and justice. And we do have some joys from Lucian. I'm going to my mom's. And I'll be able to sleep more. Thank you. Will Mom? No. Okay. From David, celebrating 11 months of sobriety tomorrow. From Chris, again, thank you to everyone who came to karaoke last night. So much joy. You missed my wonderful singing skills. Sorry for you. And from Bill, grateful to the talented musicians who helped make music with me, Bob and Julianne. And I think from Bill, but really from all of us, keeping the Sarton family in our thoughts. May this community draw closer with our shared experiences as we celebrate life's triumphs and navigate its trials together.
May
we carry in our hearts and in our lives connect us to a sense of who we are and where we came from. May those stories ground our identities in ways that are life-giving and push us to become more and to create a more equitable world. May we remember to look for awe and inspiration as creation continues to unfold all around us. Amen. Blessed be, so may it be.
Invitation to the Faith Development Hour. We have a lot of things going on, folks. Buckle up. Are you ready? All right. So the nursery will be open until 12:30. Pre-K through first grade will check in room 111 next to the nursery, and they will be exploring the first principle today. Elementary, 2nd through 5th grade, check in at room 201, which is upstairs and to your right. We will be exploring the 3rd and 5th principles today. Teens are with the adults today for our special guest speaker, Serena, who is from Planned Parenthood. This is going to be in room 105. Serena will walk us through an experiential learning activity using collage and guiding us on how we can help destigmatize abortion and teach us ways to be reproductive justice advocates. And your other option today is to join in our weekly table discussions that take place after the service. So grab a beverage, engage in an enriching conversation. These discussions provide an opportunity to delve deeper into today's sermon, exploring its themes, its insights, and personal reflections. Each table has thought-provoking questions to guide the discussion and to create space for meaningful connection and spiritual exploration. So however you engage today, may your faith development ever flow.
Please join me in extinguishing, or please join Rosie, I guess, in extinguishing our chalice with these words by Unitarian Universalist Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage. For deep down, there is another truth. You are not alone. Let us leave this surface with renewal in our spirit and a song in our heart. Please rise as you're willing and able for number 139, Wonders Still the World Shall Witness. Together today. before you spend the next 5 minutes talking with someone you don't know, we're going to have one more song from our favorite band, Some Assembly Required. So after that, spend 5 minutes to talk with someone you don't know, share them where the visitors table is, tell them we've got lots of leftover cake, and may we all know the blessings of friendship.
Why not play? Struck by lightning sounds pretty frightening, but the chances are so small. Stung with a bee sting, it's an allergy thing. Better chance you'll buy the farm at the mall. But it's 23 or 4 to 1. You fall in love by the end of this song. So get up, call your bookie, make a bet. Not a damn thing will go wrong. The odds are that we will suddenly be alright. Odds are we're gonna be alright. Odds are we're gonna be alright tonight. Odds are that we will probably be alright. Odds are we're gonna be alright. Odds are we're gonna be alright for another night. Hit by the A train, trashed in an airplane, with nationality to one, killed by a great right or a meteorite. That's not a way to go, that's fun. But somewhere in the world, someone's gonna fall in love before I finish this song. So get up, everybody's gonna be, we might as well sing along. Odds are that we will probably be alright. Odds are we're gonna be alright. Odds are we're gonna be alright tonight. Odds are that we will probably be alright. Odds are we're gonna be alright. Odds are we're gonna be alright for another night. Sure, things go wrong, but I'll take my chances. Odds are long, so why not play? Struck by lightning sounds pretty frightening, but the chances are quite small. Stung by a bee sting, it's an allergy thing. Better chance you'll buy the farm at the mall. But it's 23 or 4 to 1. You fall in love before you finish this song. So get up, call your bookie, make a bet. Nothing will go wrong. Odds are that we will probably be alright. Odds are we're gonna be alright. Odds are we're gonna be alright tonight. Odds are that we will probably be alright. Odds are we're gonna be alright. Odds are we're gonna be alright for another night.